In this video, we're going to cover best practices for client management for law firms. Client management begins before they become a client. It begins in the engagement process, the intake process, the sales process, whatever you want to call it, when they first become a lead until they become a sale. That entire experience is part of the client management process. You want to make sure that you're already nurturing them, you're already treating them like a client before they become a client. One of the things that people do, especially when they have a high ticket purchase, is they have buyer's remorse. I have this with my wife all the time. We'll buy a couch. The couch gets delivered. For 2 days, she's going to worry about, was it the right decision? Does it look good? Does it feel good? Did we make the right choice? When somebody decides to use your law firm and they walk out the door, you can be sure that the very first thing that they're thinking is, did I just make the right decision? To avoid buyer's remorse, you can take some very quick action and get them on the right path to being a positive and happy client. The first thing you can do is you can have somebody in your office call them within hours of leaving your office. The faster, the better. And that person should be somebody who can be warm and fuzzy with them and welcome them aboard as a new client. The second thing I invite you to consider is sending them some sort of welcome package. It's great if it's themed around your brand, but it should not be branded promotional material. In other words, don't send them something that says law offices of so-and-so. Instead, I actually heard this idea from somebody else. Send them a blanket from Etsy with their name on it. They're going to know who sent it to them. You can even get really cutesy and write something like this on the card that comes with it. I get the warm and fuzzies thinking about working with you. Yeah, I know it's cheesy, but it's going to land and they're going to really appreciate it if it's something useful and it's about them. Clearly, you have to use your own judgment about what to send and what to say that's appropriate for the nature of your relationship with that client, but you get the idea. If they receive something in the mail and it's a gift and it's from you, it's going to make an impact and it's going to remove an element of that buyer's remorse. The number one dissatisfaction somebody has after working with an attorney is the fact that they either didn't communicate with them or they communicated deadlines and never met those deadlines. Communication is so important when it comes to the client experience, and you need to really get good at communicating if you want to elevate the client experience. This means that you're communicating with a client even during times where you're in a holding period or holding pattern. For example, my trademark attorney sends me a text message every couple of weeks saying, your trademark is still in process. We haven't forgot about you. We just haven't heard back from the register yet. That's something that you want to consider doing with all of your clients, no matter where they are in the legal process. The other part of the communication is setting expectations about what to expect and when to expect it. So for example, if it's going to take me 6 months to hear back about my trademark, then tell me that that's how long it's going to take. And then remind me that that's how long it's going to take each time you communicate, so that I'm not sitting there wondering, oh my gosh, so much time has gone by and I still don't have a result. At the same time, don't promise a date you can't deliver on. And if you're going to miss the date, communicate about that instead of ignoring it. One of the things that people tend to do is they say, oh my gosh, we missed the deadline, but it's only a day late. We're just going to do it quickly. Instead of going to the client and saying, we're going to be a day late. Communication is so important here. And this can be the difference between a really satisfied client and a really dissatisfied client. And it's all about one email or one text message or one phone call. The last piece of the communication is to ask them how they want to be communicated with. This is something that people get wrong all the time. You assume that if you send emails, they're going to get read, but maybe that person reads their text messages. Ask them, and they might tell you, I would prefer to be texted with. I would prefer that you direct message me on Facebook. I would prefer that you send me an email. I prefer that you call me. Note that preference, and that should be the way you communicate with that client. If you have security issues, you need to have them log into a portal to read a message, send a communication to their preference saying, there's a message waiting for you in the portal. And the last piece of this entire puzzle is when a client is done, you're going to want to review. And what ends up happening is when you're about to send the request for a review, you're sitting there wondering, hey, were they satisfied with their service with me? That's the wrong time to be asking that question. You should be asking that question throughout the entire engagement process. So add that to your process. Send them an email, call them. Hey, so far, are you satisfied with the service we're providing you? Get the feedback, because you can fix it along the way. But when you're done, it's too late. If you found this information to be really helpful, information isn't the transformation, it's the execution. If you need help in implementing this and other things in your law firm, check out the Elite Coaching Program, where we work with law firm owners just like you. You can check out more at profitwithlaw.com/elite.